Oh yeah, is it Saturday already? Have we made it through yet another week of Star Wars news in the last week before we get Maul Shadow Lord? We don't usually do prediction streams on Saturdays, but from here on out we will because Maul drops on Monday. Maul Mondays. We got a 2-episode premiere of Maul Shadow Lord in 2 days. 2 days from today. So we're going to be giving our final predictions and our craziest predictions for this Maul Shadow Lord series. We also got some Mandalorian and Grogu leaks to get to, so don't forget about those as well. But we got some reviews, predictions, and craziness. Even a new trailer that is hinting towards Vader or Palpatine being in this series. We got so much to get into, and we even got to celebrate a little bit today. So without further ado, let's dive into all of it. What's up, everybody? How's it been doing on this fine Saturday afternoon? So it is a great day today. It was a great day yesterday. It's a great day every day, but for most people, this is a bigger day than most. We got Maul Shadow Lord in 2 days, and we officially hit 200,000 subscribers on this channel. So, well, first of all, hit it. It's absolutely insane. I appreciate you all so much more than you'll ever know. I could not thank you enough for getting us here. Just you guys liking, hitting subscribe, watching the live streams, doing no words. Hit it again. It's absolutely insane. My brain can't fathom it. It doesn't make any sense, but I appreciate it so unbelievably much. We hit it yesterday or maybe the day before, but either way, it's insanely cool. So I appreciate all the celebrations in the chat as well. But we got a job to do today, chat. We got a job to do. So we got to talk about Maul Shadow Lord, a prediction stream. We haven't had a prediction stream in a long time, but we got to talk about the premiere of Maul Shadow Lord, what we think's going down, who's going to appear in the show, and we got a crazy trailer that even teases Vader and Palpatine. But before we get to any of that, let's start the stream the only way we know how, by saying hi to everybody in the chat, shall we? Aaron, how we doing? John Groom in the house. Dale Skywalker, what is up? Brandon Baker, how we doing? Steve in the building. Max Rebo, what is up? Xavier, how we doing? Mando United, what is up? Holly, how we doing? Starship 66 in the building. 730 Evie, what is up? Kyler, how we doing? Adam, what is up? That Dave that loves Star Wars, what is up? Ian, how we doing? Nathan in the building. Darth Plagueis lives, what is up? Vincent, how we doing? Star Wars Insight, what is up? Jedi Geek in the building. Jin Urso, what is up? Mason, how we doing? Matt, how's it going? Lobo, what is up? All right, if I missed you, you know the deal. Just yell at me in the chat. Let's give everybody a nice little
Hello there.
General Kenobi.
Oh, that cut off sooner than I expected. So, let's first start by watching this Maul trailer that has got the fandom rocking. Let's start there, and then we'll go from. Wait a second. Ian with the very generous $5 holla says 200K. Congrats. Shirtless celebration, pretty please. I'm kidding, folks. Sort of. No. Maybe for 300,000. I will say I am wearing my 100,000K stream shirt where I got the blue milk dumped on my face. That was a pretty legendary moment, but I will not be dumping blue milk on my head today. Nope, no thank you. That was a one-time thing and maybe for $1 million, but we'll see if we ever get there. Okay, let's do this. Let's do this. All right, let's watch this trailer first. It's only 34 seconds. We got it yesterday, and it absolutely blew my freaking mind to the point where I had to stop everything I was doing and make a full-on video about it. So if you have not checked out that video, go check it out. But watch this. This is absolutely insane. Oh, wait. Crank it up to 11 and let's watch it.
In these times, I prefer to keep my presence a shadow.
Ever heard of Maul?
My lord, Maul lives.
To those who have betrayed me, die well.
Maul, Shadow Lord, streaming April 6th, only on...
Okay, before we get to the gigantic elephant in the room that is my lord, not the Grand Inquisitor, Marok, the Inquisitor, saying, yes, my lord, to some hologram. We'll get to it in a second. Let's just break down the rest of the trailer really quickly, because I know that's the main focus here, and then we'll get to that. And I'll get to that super chat in a second, too. Okay.
In these times, I prefer to keep my presence a shadow.
In these times, I prefer to keep my presence as a shadow. We got a bunch of new scenes here. Janix with the Star Destroyer coming overhead.
I prefer to keep
Maul talking to Rook
my
Cast.
presence.
And then this is just awesome. So some sort of, this looks like the tea ceremony scene from the first trailer that we got. He's got the lightsaber right next to the tea, which means Devon Izara is going to use the Force to grab that lightsaber and try to, free herself. What we've kind of gathered here, and as we get into predictions for what's going to go down in these first two episodes, is that Maul is going to capture Devon Izara against her will, against her will. And in doing that, her master's going to come try to save her. Maul's going to try to lure her to the dark side, and this whole plot is going to get rolling here. But we're going to see Maul with his nice little tea party set going, trying to, persuade Devon Izara to the dark side. And it looks like she's not going to take to it very nicely as she uses the Force to grab the lightsaber and tries to attack Maul.
A shadow.
Ever heard of Maul?
So we get our first look in a trailer at there he is, at Ludi Vario, a new scoundrel character who is on the poster and the official article from StarWars.com for this series. So Ludi Vario, a new character who will be, I assume, on the planet of Janix, and he's talking to, I think, that looks like, at least from the back of his face or the side of his face, it looks like Brander Lawson. So I'll get to these super chats in a second. This is insane. I appreciate the very generous super chat. Okay, but we got a new character, Ludi Vario, a scoundrel in Maul Shadow Lord.
Ever heard of Maul?
Maul taking down some pikes. This is going to be quite the hallway scene. You can see all the way down the hallway. There's a bunch of dead bodies behind Maul. So it's going to be pretty crazy. The animation looks so good. Yeah, it does. What species is he? I don't really know. Ludi, you're saying? Yeah, I don't know. He's got like gills on the side of his face or whatever the hell these things are. Fins, I guess, on the side of his face. I don't know what. I don't know. Do we know what species this is?
Maul.
We're skipping this because we'll get to it in one sec, but
To those who have betrayed me, die well.
to those who have betrayed me, die well. My goodness, that's a bar. Okay, but here's the thing. We know that this, I guess, the first part or the first portion, maybe even the first season of this show is not going to be about Maul going after Palpatine. It's first going to be about his revenge on the people who wronged him. The people, the Pikes, the underworld criminal organizations, the syndicates that wronged him. Order 66 happened and they all abandoned him. He had this network of people that were supposed to protect him, and now they are not. And they're not there anymore. So people like Dryden Voss, who very well will be in this series because he was in the Clone Wars Season 7, those characters will have to choose. Are they going to be on Maul's side, or is Maul going to chop their heads off? And I think the Pikes, as we can tell from the trailer, are going to be, against Maul, and he's going to kill all of them. Maybe not all of them, but a lot of them. And we'll see how the Black Sun reacts, because He's already chopped off most of their heads, and we'll see how Dryden Voss reacts. But the majority of this, I guess, start of this show is going to be his revenge on the people who wronged him first. Not Palpatine, but the crime syndicates. So don't expect to see Palpatine or even Vader, for that matter, in the first at least half of this season. So that's who he's talking about here. And Die Well is just so badass.
Die well.
Maul, Shadow Lord, streaming April 6th.
Okay. Enough messing around. Let's get to it. Who do you think Marok is talking to here?
My lord.
My lord, Maul lives. And he, in a hologram, activates. Now, of course, we can't see who the hologram is. That would defeat the purpose. But who do we think this is? I think there's really only two options here. I know people have been throwing out the Grand Inquisitor, but they don't call the Grand Inquisitor my lord. They just don't do that. So there's only two options. It's Vader and it's Palpatine. So tell me in the chat, who do we think he's talking to, Vader or Palpatine? I know there's a debate for both and good reason for both, but there's only two options, and it's Lord Vader and it's Palpatine. Two characters who we have seen in animation before. This was Palpatine in The Bad Batch somewhat recently. I believe that's from Season 2, but he was in Season 3 as well. And this was Vader in the Clone Wars Season 7, which was only a few years back. So who is Marok talking to? Tell me in the chat. I've seen a lot of Vaders and a lot of Palpatines, so let's do this. Let's put up a poll. Let's put up a poll. And then I'll get to these super chats too while we're at it. If you have not yet already, smash a freaking like on this stream. God damn. But let's put up a poll. Who is Marok talking to? When he says, my lord. I know a lot of people have been saying, when people talk about Vader, they call him Lord Vader. Now that is true. However, Marok also says in the first trailer for this show to Maul that the Emperor wants him dead. Now, unless it's just a chain of command thing and that order has come down the chain of command all the way to Marok from Darth Vader, possibly. But why not from Palpatine himself? Maul has always been something that Palpatine has handled himself, for the most part. So, who is Marok talking to when he says, my lord? Do you think it's Darth Vader? Palpatine? And I'll even add another thing for other, just for you crazy people who think it's somebody else, or other. What do we think? No, he's definitely not talking to Dryden Voss. Although I do think Dryden Voss will be in this series, he's definitely not talking to Dryden. The Inquisitors would not do that. Okay. But the Inquisitors are too low a rank for Papa Palps. I would agree with you if it wasn't Maul. You know, the Inquisitors, we know that they do, their leader, I guess, is Vader. Reluctant leader. Vader doesn't want to deal with them. But he is the one who trains them. He is the one who, chops their limbs off and teaches them the ways of the dark side. But for something so important, something as important as Maul, I feel like Palpatine would go and handle that himself like he did on Mandalore in the Clone Wars. Season 4? Season 4, right? I think Season 4. All right, let me get to these super chats really quickly, and then we can keep on going here. All right. Let's go. Darth Plagueis lives with a very generous $5 holla. I appreciate that quite a bit. Says, happy Easter, everybody. Oh, yeah, Easter's tomorrow. Happy Easter, everybody, for those who celebrate and for those who don't. Easter's fun. So happy Easter to everybody. Eat a lot of chocolate for me. Find some Easter bunny eggs and yeah. Eat a lot of food. That's what I'm going to do. Eat a lot of food. And congrats on 200K subs. I appreciate that, Darth Plagueis. It's still, it's still awesome. It makes it, yeah. Whew, okay. Here. Ron with a very generous $20 super chat. Holy crap, Ron, that's insanely generous. I appreciate that quite a bit. Says, congrats on 200K. Thanks, Ron. No, I'm just kidding. I'm not going to do that every single time. But another Mike who loves Star Wars with a very generous $5 holla. Says, congrats on 200K. Appreciate it. Is your voice well enough to give us your most awesome impression of Maul? It's been a while. Let's go full on Maul, baby. All right, I can do some Maul. Just, for Maul's sake. In my mind's eye, I can feel him. Kenobi. But no, I'm not gonna scream like that. But Maul's a pretty great character, and I'm hoping that pretty much everything that he said throughout the Clone Wars and in Rebels is a quotable line. His whole monologue to Ahsoka is like the greatest thing ever. So now that we're getting a show fully focused on Maul specifically, imagine all the great stuff that's going to come out of that. Imagine all the incredible writing that we're going to get for this character when the show is revolved around him. It's insane. All right, but let's get to the topic at hand here. Palpatine or Vader? Who do we think he is talking to? And do you think we will see both of these characters in the show? Because we will try to answer the question of who is the hologram, but I think both these characters will show up. I know they try to use Vader and Palpatine very sparingly throughout, I guess, recent years. When Palpatine shows up at the Bad Batch, it's like this huge deal, and it should be. Like, he's the emperor of the galaxy. He's the baddest of the bad. Same with Vader. He is incredible. He is so villainous, and when he shows up, you should be horrified. But I still think they'll both be in this in this show. Maybe not the first season, but they'll both definitely be in the series at some point or another. So, the Typhoonian with a very generous $5 holla says, I think one Palpatine would be interesting. And so whether Darth Vader would overcome Maul or whether Maul would be his apprentice again. Honestly, in Palpatine's sick and twisted mind, he might send Vader after Maul as a test. And maybe you're right. Maybe Palpatine's like, well, if Vader fails, then I can always just take Maul back. But I'm sure Palpatine realizes that Anakin's gone. I'm sure he realizes that Vader is far more powerful than Maul ever could be. Yeah, ever. But still, that is a great point. It would be interesting to see if he throws Vader at him just to see if he can handle it. I appreciate the memberships too, Holly and 50 Thunder. Okay, but let's keep going. So there's really only two options here, Vader or Palpatine. I'm leaning more towards Vader just because, as you guys said, it would come down the chain of command and Palpatine would inform Vader to inform the Inquisitors. And I think Season 1 of Maul Shadow Lord might be send the Inquisitors at Maul, see what he can do. When he inevitably wins, kills Marok, and does whatever to the Crow, then send Vader. And when Vader inevitably fails, then Palpatine goes himself. If that's how this show goes, if it's a 3-season show, because by the way, Season 2 was confirmed on Thursday. We talked about that quite a bit. If this was a 3-season show, and Season 1 is Maul versus Inquisitors, Season 2 is Maul versus Vader, and Season 3 is Maul versus Palpatine, now you're talking. You could put a couple years in between the seasons so it doesn't seem so just bunched together, and it could lead to the Maul we see in Rebels. He's lost his mind. He's by himself on Malachor 5. No criminal syndicate in every single, person who's thrown his way makes him lose it. He builds this criminal underworld. He builds up the Crimson Dawn. He has Dryden Voss on his side. He gets the other crime bosses to be on his side. He builds this empire himself. But he doesn't care about it. All he cares about is one thing and one thing only forever, and that is revenge. And until he gets his revenge on Palpatine, he's not going to care about anything else. Sure, he's going to build up this underworld. He's going to get this Twi'lek apprentice. But he doesn't care. All of that is to just gain enough power to be able to take down his former master. That's it. Kenobi's gone. He thinks he's dead, at least. And with that, the only thing he wants is revenge. So season 1 is going to be build up that empire, get that Twi'lek apprentice. Season 2 is going to be, holy crap, Vader just killed my Twi'lek apprentice. Damn it.
I got a bad feeling about this.
Season 2 will just be, oh my God, Vader just chopped off my Twi'lek apprentice's head. And then he's going to throw it all away to go after Palpatine in that 3rd season. That would be chef's kiss perfection. Sign me. Where do I sign? Sign me up. That's my bold prediction. That's my long game prediction for this show. Maul is going to build up this criminal underworld. It'll feel like he's going to succeed. It'll feel like he's got it all figured out. And then it collapses in on his head. It'll be like Andor in a way. Luthen has figured it out. He figured out the Death Star. He figured out all of it. And then Dedra shows up at his door. Ding dong, the doorbell rings, and Dedra's right there. And he, dies. Spoiler alert. Me and Sam just finished Andor last night, and it was awesome. I already knew it was going to be awesome, but it was still awesome. So that's where we are. Okay, but so going back to it, who is this hologram? I wouldn't be shocked if it was Vader. Maybe we don't even see Palpatine in season 1, but he's later on in the series. But that would indicate that this is going to happen possibly on Monday. Because here's the thing. With most trailers, the scenes from those trailers are from the first couple episodes. Now, granted, there's probably a few from later on episodes. But most trailers for Star Wars shows are from the first couple episodes. So all of this, the Great Inquisitor fights on the train, Maul capturing Devon Izara from her master and sort of forcing her to turn to the dark side, that will all happen in the first couple episodes of this show. And whatever's happening in the back half, well, that's, going to be a surprise to be sure, but a welcome one. Now, a lot of content creators we've been seeing online, we're going to read the spoiler-free review, by the way, all spoiler-free today, at least from what we know. A bunch of content creators online got the first 8 episodes. By the way, I didn't. What's up with that? Lucasfilm. No, I'm kidding. But if you want to send it to me, I'm right there. No, honestly, Lucasfilm, I don't really want them. And here's why. I don't want to watch the first 8 episodes and then have to wait a month to watch the last 2. Also, we do live watch parties, and I love the watch parties. I love doing it live with you guys, reacting live and enjoying the show week to week. So, Lucasfilm, you can send me the 8 episodes. I wouldn't say no to 8 episodes, but I don't think I would watch them even if you did. So, where was I going with that? Oh, yeah, the 8 episode reviews are here. So, the craziest part about this is these content creators have seen the first 8 episodes. Now, why they haven't seen the last 2, well, that means something crazy is going to happen in them. But why the first 8? Why not the first 4? Why not the first 2? Like, why 8? There's something big going on in that 8th episode, probably. That's a big cliffhanger for those last 2 episodes. There's a big arc that's swaying through. And it makes me think that if Vader or Palpatine is in the show, like physically there, not just a hologram, because this is probably Vader. This is most likely Vader. Or it's Palpatine. But physically in the show, I don't think it will be until episode 9 and 10. Because they wouldn't show the content creators that if it was in the first 8 episodes. Because they send these 8 episodes out to a lot of people, and I'm sure one of them would leak it out. So, if we are to get Vader or Palpatine in the flesh in one of these, in this season, in this first season, it won't be until the finale, or the second to last episode, I suppose. So, that's my prediction on this. I think it is most likely Vader, maybe Palpatine, but neither of them will show up in the flesh until later on in the series. By the way, This is insane. Ian said maybe when you hit 500K, they'll give you a preview. Maybe. Darth Vader is currently at 75% on this poll. You guys think 75% of you guys think Marok is talking to Vader. Which, can we just take a second to talk about how insanely cool that is? Vader has only really been in animation a handful of times. One is right here in the Clone Wars Season 7, and this was a final scene where he picks up Ahsoka's lightsaber, and that's it. He's in Tales for like a split second when he just sits on the throne in the Barasafi episodes in Tales of the Empire. And then he's in Rebels, but he's really not in Rebels that much. They don't utilize him again for the fear factor because he would absolutely wipe the floor with Kanan and Ezra and everybody. So they don't use him that much. I want to see Vader. I want to see Vader in animation. I want to see Vader in this style of animation. Think about how epic it's going to be. That at some point within the next couple years, we could be getting a Maul versus Vader fight. I don't think you understand. I don't think your brain is comprehending what I just laid down for you. Remember how epic Ahsoka versus Maul was in the Clone Wars Season 7? You remember how insane Ahsoka versus Vader was in Rebels Season 2 finale, Twilight of the Apprentice? Do you remember how awesome the Anakin versus Ahsoka in the World Between Worlds fight was in Ahsoka Season 1? Remember how insane Duel of the Fates was in Phantom Menace with Qui-Gon and Obi-Wan versus Darth Maul? It could go down even though we know that Vader and Maul both can't die in the fight. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. It could still be one of the greatest lightsaber duels we've ever laid our eyes on. And we could be getting it this year. I don't think it is. I think they'll save it for a Season 2 or a Season 3 maybe even. But Vader versus Maul. That's insane. No. That's insane. Like Vader versus Maul was always a fanboy dream, you know? So many Star Wars fans were like, that would be cool, but, it can't happen, obviously. Like, Maul's dead now, and Vader's story's been pretty much told all the way. Like, it wouldn't happen. Here we are. Maul Shadow Lord exists. It's happening in 2 days. And the Maul versus Vader fight is very much on the table for this first season. All right. Will Maul mess Vader up? No. So here's the thing. Vader is restricted by his suit. Anakin was probably at his peak power physically. Yeah. In Revenge of the Sith. His suit sort of restricts his mobility for sure. And it restricts a lot of things just because the way that Palpatine crafted it so that Palpatine would always be more powerful than him. That's a whole nother story for a whole nother time, I suppose. But this is early days Vader, so he's not really used to his suit that much. But still, I think Maul's going to get absolutely destroyed. Maybe not so easily destroyed. It'll make for a great lightsaber duel, and it'll probably last a while. But Vader wins. Vader wins. Difficulty, medium. Just because he's new to the suit and, he's not used to fighting in the suit, so maybe it's a little bit more difficult for him, but yeah. Will he convince Vader to join him? Whoa. See, this is why we do these streams. I didn't even think of that as a possibility. Maul tries so hard to get Ahsoka to join him, to take down Palpatine. Imagine what he'll try to say to Vader. That would be crazy. Holy crap. Okay. I like that idea. I like that idea quite a bit. Because Maul loves to talk now. I don't know what it was about the Phantom Menace, but he loves to talk now. And his monologue in the Clone Wars Season 7 is awesome. So if we get another one of those when he's talking to Vader, that would be incredible.
This is where the fun begins.
Yeah, that would be insane. Okay. Obviously, Vader wouldn't join him, but maybe he thinks about it for a second, you know? Maybe he just starts to think about it a little bit. Imagine Maul tells Vader that the planet the ship Ahsoka was on in Order 66 when it crashed, and that's why Vader was there and got her lightsaber. Oh my God, that'd be crazy. Yeah, because we don't know how many years that is later that Vader finds the ship that Ahsoka crashed on. I kind of like that, actually. That's a pretty cool theory. All right. But to put a close on it, you guys think, and I kind of am on board with you, this is most likely Vader, not Palpatine, but the both of them will be involved in this show in one way or another. And we'll just have to wait and see, I suppose. Okay. But moving on, let's talk about this. So I got an article of Dave Filoni talking about Clone Wars and Maul Shadow Lord. And then we'll get into the reviews and what all these people are talking about and how we could be getting the premiere on Monday for what could end up being one of the greatest Star Wars projects of all time. And saying that is one thing, you know, like just saying, oh, this is going to be great. But actually believing that is another. Like, there's a very high possibility with the fact that this is a Maul show. And I know I love Maul. He's my third favorite character of all time. But, like, we are very much in a situation here where this show, already confirmed for a second season, Inquisitors versus Maul, the underworld, surviving Jedi, for surviving Order 66 Jedi, Vader, Palpatine, this could go down as one of the greatest Star Wars anything we've ever seen. And that's not that crazy a thing to say. I mean, tell me in the chat if you disagree. But, okay. I'll get to that super chat in 1 sec because I already read it and I don't like what it says. Just kidding. I appreciate it, but I'll get to it in 1 sec. So let's talk about this first. Dave Filoni reflects on reviving Darth Maul in the Clone Wars and where he is heading in Shadow Lord. So from the co-president Dave Filoni himself, let's talk about it. Dave Filoni reflects on Maul's journey through live action and animated Star Wars movies and shows, and explains in this new interview with Esquire how he approached bringing a man literally too angry to die into one of the most surprising nuanced story arcs in the franchise, and how Maul Shadow Lord serves as a crucial chapter in his perpetual, easy for me to say, journey of anger, hate, and surviving. That's quite the paragraph right there. It really encapsulates Maul's story very well. Okay. As he was exploring Star Wars in the television format and making the Clone Wars, George Lucas realized that there was still potentially a story to tell with Darth Maul. He tasked Dave Filoni to come up with such a story, as Filoni explains this. So now we're getting into the George Lucas of it all, because this series is very much based off the ideas that George Lucas created for the character. Maul was a character that George wanted to bring back in the Clone Wars. Somehow, Darth Maul returns. And I thought that'd be very difficult since he cut him in half before. Of course, Phantom Menace, Obi-Wan Kenobi, cuts Maul in half. He falls down the giant tube, and we never see him again. You assume that character that got cut in half and fell down the giant tube died. However, he didn't. And turns out he's going to go on the greatest, one of the greatest runs of any Star Wars character in the history of the galaxy far, far away. Just quite the journey. But he was very confident that I would find a way to make it justifiable. By the way, Dave, you did a great job. At the end of the day, people like that character, so they kind of will it back into existence. as long as it comes back in form that they enjoy. So fans, yet again, will the character back into existence, will the character back to life with Maul. Same way we did with Boba Fett, with the Book of Boba Fett in Mando, where Boba comes back to life. Honestly, the Boba and Maul comparisons are very similar. They both were characters with very little lines, very little screen time, and both characters seem to have died on screen. Put a gigantic asterisk next to that. Seem to have died on screen. And both characters were brought back to life in a really badass way. When Boba Fett shows up in The Mandalorian Season 2, you're like, holy crap, I just pooped my pants. Not actually, chat, calm down. But that's what we all said because it was true at the time. And when Maul comes back and he's a spider, and his brother, Asajj Ventress, who was just training with Count Dooku, comes to rescue him, you're like, holy crap, I just pooped my pants. Not actually, though, chat. Not actually. Okay, calm down. But fans willed that to be so. If Maul was a hated character, if fans were like, thank God Maul got chopped in half, he's the worst, then he would never have been brought back to life. So when you think you don't have much power as a Star Wars fan, you do. You do. Okay, continuing. In the Clone Wars, he thinks he can prove himself and then return to his rightful place at the side of the Emperor. He thinks he can become that guy again, and that the Emperor was wrong. Well, that didn't work. That didn't work at all. The Emperor has moved on. Moving forward into the end of the arc in the Clone Wars, and now into Shadow Lord, Filoni explains Maul's main driving force, which perfectly fits into the sci-fi twist and the gangster narrative. Interesting. Maul is afraid, and power is the only way that he knows to really overcome the fear of his. This fear is being signified, of being insignificant, English Mike, of being forgotten, of being nothing. So Maul is scared. Interesting. Not really the way I'd put it, but I like it. Maul is just a fallen person. He's put his own needs and greed ahead of everyone else's. His desire for power and revenge, and that's what drives him. This whole series is about his want for revenge, not just on Palpatine, but on the people who wronged him during Order 66. When he was supposed to be protected and rescued, they didn't come to his aid. Not at all. Okay. Series head writer and executive producer Matt Micknovitz, who's the GOAT. I mean, talk about a catalog of writing with the Clone Wars, stated that Maul learns lots of lessons over the course of this new series, but his arc is still built on the tragic traits established in the Clone Wars and reinforced in his ending in Rebels. This takes place much later in the timeline, by about 15 years. So if you're expecting to see the Maul that we have in Rebels, throw that expectation out the window. We have to build up to that Maul. And that's just not where we're at right now. He is kind of a tragic figure who is constantly doomed to repeat his mistakes. Sisyphus. I love the Freddie Prinze Jr. Interview where he's like, Maul is Sisyphus. Sisyphus is the Greek god who rolls the boulder up the hill but never gets there and it always falls back down. He's constantly rolling that boulder up the hill. That is Maul. This want for revenge, this constant climbing back up the mountaintop, trying to get to the top, but never succeeding, that's Maul's story in a nutshell. So he's got this tragic figure who's constantly doomed to repeat his mistakes. He has some empathy. We have some empathy for him, but he's a bad guy. So you're still going to feel for him. You're going to feel bad for him when you see, hopefully, a flashback. We'll get to that in a second when we get into predictions here, to the Son of Dathomir, where Palpatine is torturing him and you feel bad for him because, yes, Maul's a bad guy, but there's worse. And the worst is Palpatine. So his moral judgment is not the best. It sounds like we're trying to almost, defend him. You're like, his moral judgment, it's not the best, okay? But he's, you feel bad for the guy. He's been through a lot. He's not that bad. He's not that bad. But he's, chopping people's heads off and innocent bystanders, he just kills them, not a care in the world. Okay. He's determined to achieve his goal through whatever means necessary, but he's not that bad. He's not that bad. Manipulation, he's not that bad. He's not that bad. But he's a survivor, He's just a survivor. So that's the Maul of it all. Okay. Voice actor Sam Witwer has the following to say about Maul's next course of action. So here's the voice himself, Sam Witwer. He's reassessing what he needs to do to get back on the map, to become that leader that he was not so long ago. How to get back into the galactic stage. He needs to reassert his dominance and his ability to be taken seriously, which means he's going to go kill a ton of Pikes and set the stage to, if you don't want to work with me, I will kill you all. You will all have your heads removed from your bodies, or you will join me. And that's about it. Those are your two options. Okay. Yes, all the people that were supposed to be there for him, those Pikes in Black Sun and Crimson Dawn and all of them, those people that were there supposed to be there for him, where they were all going to insulate each other from the changes in the coming empire, they were not there for him. So now he must go around and maybe teach a few people a few lessons, which he feels that he has to do if he is going to be taken seriously. So these first couple episodes, when we're talking specific predictions for episode 1 and 2 of Maul Shadow Lord coming out in 2 days, we're talking about that right there. Him going to teach a few lessons to people who were supposed to take care of him when the Empire came to be, and they left him out to die. So he's going to have to go teach them a lesson, and that's going to be where we leave off here. Yeah. Mike, you are required to acknowledge that super chat. I will after this article, I promise. But that's where this show's going to begin. He's going to be setting the tone for the rest of the underworld that I am Maul and you don't mess with me, or your kappa will be detated. Filoni closes out the piece by stating this: since Maul's story is a tragic is a cyclical one. Sure. Maul's actions have been a pretty big ripple effect that affects the galaxy at large in ways that he couldn't begin to imagine. While Maul's selfish actions drive both the higher criminal highs and lower moral lows. Interesting. So we're going to get to see how Maul affects not just the criminal underworld, but the actual moral people of the world or the galaxy, like a Brander Lawson, or maybe even some other familiar faces that we haven't met yet. Possibly. Okay. So Filoni had to say this: all of these evil things and all these selfish things scale. It starts out small and it seems petty, but it quickly becomes a fulfillment of desire. If you took something that gives you power, it made you feel better than someone else, but it also makes you feel bad because somewhere inherently you know it's wrong what you did. Interesting. So Maul's going to know what he did is wrong. So in order to quash that feeling of remorse, you have to do it again and again to get the fix of thriving and gaining power and suppressing other people. So the dark side is like a drug. You just need to keep doing it again and again to feel that, that runner's high. Chopping people's heads off to get to just feel good about yourself, just to feel good. That's nice. That's nice. And it becomes this way of being, and that is the dark side of the Force. Okay, so That's crazy. But there you have it. So, yes, 2-episode premiere on Monday and 2 episodes every single week until May the 4th. We know that. We know that. All right. Having said that, though, let's get into our own personal predictions here. Who do we think is going to show up in this series? What do we think is going down in the first 2 episodes? Give me your craziest and realistic predictions for the premiere, the first 2 episodes of Maul Shadowlord, and we're going to talk about specific characters who could and will show up in this series. Tell me in the chat. Give me your predictions, your craziest predictions for Maul Shadowlord. Let's hear it, and let me get to this super chat. Mando United with a very generous $20 haul. Very generous super chat. I appreciate it. I appreciate it. Congrats on 200K subs, Mike. Thanks. As there is no blue milk on the offer, I think we need a Sid impression to celebrate. Don't ban me. No, I will not ban you, but I'm definitely not doing a Sid impression for 200K! Hit it! Yeah, no, not happening. But I appreciate the super chat. It's very, very generous. Yeah, okay. Where were we? So, tell me your craziest predictions in the chat for Maul Shadowlord, and let me kickstart by giving you a big one. Let's start with a enormous one. Shall we? Wait. There. One that I actually think is very, very, maybe not likely, but could happen. Let's put it that way. And that is Asajj Ventress. Asajj Ventress. Now tell me in the chat, do you think Asajj Ventress will show up in this Maul Shadowlord first season? I always go back to the fact that the title for one of the episodes, if I can find it really quickly, is Strange Allies. Now maybe the Strange Ally is in reference to Devon Izara, and the fact that Devon will fight alongside Maul versus his adversaries. That's a possibility. But I personally think that we could be talking about this quote-unquote strange ally, or strange allies, in Chapter 9 as somebody extremely unexpected. And that's why Lucasfilm, when they gave out the first 8 episodes to the content creators, did not give Episode 9 or 10, but did not give Episode 9 because those strange allies are extremely important and a huge surprise. So tell me in the chat, do you think one of those strange allies is, in fact, Asajj Ventress? Yes or no? And let me kind of give you a little bit of a pitch here, chat, on why I think this character might be extremely likely. Okay, I say might be. Asajj Ventress. Last year, we got a little show that was awesome called Tales of the Underworld. Ever heard of it? Now, Tales of the Underworld, it came out on May the 4th last year. Came out of nowhere. Literally out of left field. We didn't even know it was coming out until about 3 weeks before it came out. And in Tales of the Underworld, we got Asajj Ventress. We didn't just get Asajj Ventress, chat. We got Asajj Ventress brought back from the dead. Because in the canon novel, The Dark Disciple, Asajj Ventress dies. She sacrifices herself to save Quinlan Vos, spoiler alert, in front of Count Dooku. So she dies to Count Dooku. And they went out of their way to bring her back to life. Now this is crazy because we're talking about Maul Shadowlord, a show about a character who came back to life. Because Maul, in The Phantom Menace, everybody thought he was dead, and then he came back to life. So, last year, in 2025, they brought Asajj Ventress back to life. By the way, using Night Sister magic on Dathomir, which is where Maul is from, but brought her back to life, and they must have brought her back to life for a purpose. In this Tales story for Asajj actually ends with her leaving with an apprentice, a young boy. I forget his name actually at this point, but somebody in the chat help me out. What the hell is that kid's name? So they set up Asajj Ventress for a very bright future. You don't bring a character back from the dead if you don't have something planned for her in the future. She's a lightsaber wielder. She's been with the dark side. She's been with the light side. She's an in-between person right now. And she's very much on the same side as Maul in the way that she hates the Empire and probably wants to help take them down. So a strange ally that could possibly show up in that 9th episode later on in the series could, in fact, be Asajj Ventress. She's far more likely than anybody else we're going to talk about today. Maybe not anybody, but she's far more likely than most. Because of that, she was brought back from the dead, and they have a purpose for her character, and she's very similar to the character of Maul. Very similar. So, tell me in the chat, yes or no, Asajj Ventress, what do we think? And let me get to the super chat while you do that too. John Groom with a very generous $10 super chat. I appreciate that quite a bit. Says, congrats on 200K, Mike. Thank you. Not sure the scene where Devon Izara has a red lightsaber. Not sure what... Oh, the scene where Devon Izara has a red lightsaber is her trying to escape, but Maul is training her and she is embracing her anger. Crazy theory is that we will see Mace Windu survives. I love that. I did not have that on the docket for today. I don't think Mace Windu will be in this series. That would be a surprise to be sure, but a welcome one. Pull it up. All right, let's pull it up. Let's pull it up. By the way, 70% of you guys say that you think the hologram message is my lord is Darth Vader. Okay. Do you think Asajj Ventress will be in Maul Shadow Lord? Yes or no? Do you think Asajj Ventress will be in Maul Shadow Lord? What do we think? And I appreciate the super chat, John Groom. I really do. Okay. All right. Now, continuing. Asajj Ventress, yes or no? All of it depends on what their future for this character is. They didn't bring her back to life for nothing. And right now, Maul Shadow Lord is the only thing that takes place in this spot in the timeline where she would be at. Right after Tales of the Underworld, she's going off with her apprentice, which, thank you, Kyler. His name is Lyko. So they will be doing their thing. So, Asajj Ventress, yes or no? What do we think? Wow, the majority of you are saying yes, and I like it. All right, let's leave that poll up there for a little bit, and let's move on to our next character. In a very similar vein, I have to bring up the other character that was a main character of that Tales series, Cad Bane. Now, we've talked about the Underworld, the Pikes, the Crimson Dawn, the Black Sun. Dryden Voss is a character that will be in this series. I can 99.9% guarantee that. But we don't talk about the other side of the Underworld, the bounty hunters. What do we think about this bounty hunter? Cad Bane, will he be in Maul Shadow Lord, yes or no? What do you think, chat? Because just in the same way that they gave us a whole story about Asajj Ventress, bringing her back to life last year with Tales of the Underworld, they also gave us an origin story for Cad Bane, a character who may be dead. He gets stabbed in the chest by Boba Fett in the Book of Boba Fett, but maybe he's not dead. But he dies to Boba Fett in the Book of Boba Fett. Could we be getting more of Cad Bane? Now, before you just say absolutely no, absolutely not, why would they do that? He was in the Bad Batch, and we did not expect that at all. He was in the Bad Batch, and he was just in Tales of the Underworld. So there's been a lot of Cad Bane stories being told recently, possibly teeing us up for a little Cad Bane action going on in this series. How does Morgan Elsbeth find Marok? That's a great question. I hope this show will answer that, because Marok, I think, will die to Maul. And if Maul brings Marok's body to Dathomir, that would be incredible. Yeah. That would be incredible. Actually, that brings up a great question. Do you guys think the planet of Dathomir will be in this series? Because we know by the time of Solo, which is still not for another 8 to 10 years after the events of this first season, we know by the events of Solo, because Maul is in Solo, that he is on Dathomir. So he's got 2 Zabraks with him, Scorn and Icarus. Maybe he got them from Dathomir? Maybe he's going back to Dathomir at the end of this season? All we know is by the time of Solo, he is there. And there's some pretty familiar faces on Dathomir at this point right now, too. Cal Kestis is running around. A little bit of a Marin in there as well as a Night Sister. And if you're bringing up Dathomir, if you're bringing up that place where the Night Sisters go to live, you got to, again, bring up the character of Asajj Ventress. She is a Night Sister. She was just brought to Dathomir by Quinlan and Obi-Wan to be brought back to life. So is it like, people just coming to Dathomir for weekend getaways? Like one weekend, Quinlan Vos is dropping off Asajj Ventress' dead body into these waters to bring her back to life. The next weekend, Maul is there picking up Icarus and Scorn. The next weekend, it's Cal Kestis showing up and fighting Terran Malicos just for fun. And then the next weekend is Maul going there for Solo. Like, is it just a revolving door on Dathomir, or what's going on there? They kind of have to explain all of that. So if we do see Dathomir in this series, maybe we do see a familiar face like a Terran Malicos. That'd be nice. It's a revolving door. We'll just have to see who's there on that day. So will Terran Malicos be in Maul Shadow Lord? I don't think so, but it would be a very pleasant surprise. Terran seems to be a character that's been forgotten since Fallen Order. Maybe not. Maybe they got big plans for Terran Malicos, but I don't know. We'll have to wait and see. So going back to it, Cad Bane. I certainly hope we see him. He's my favorite bounty hunter in all of Star Wars. So just personally, I want to see him again. And we got him in Tales last year. So if Asajj can show up because she got more story in Tales, then why can't he too? And now that we brought up Dathomir, now that we brought up the Solo movie, let's talk about Qi'ra. Let's talk about Qi'ra from Solo. Do you think Qi'ra will be in Maul Shadow Lord? Yes or no? Now, here's the thing. I am 99.99999999999% sure that her boss, Dryden Voss, will be in this. I'm 99.999% sure. Because he was in Clone Wars Season 7. With the Pikes, with the Black Sun, he was having that meeting, that syndicate meeting, with Maul on Mandalore. So he is 100% going to be in this show. Now the question is, will Qi'ra be with him? Now I guess it fully depends on how much time Maul Shadow Lord is going to cover. I would assume that she's not going to be in the first season. But if there's a big time jump, maybe she's in the second. Or maybe you could see a younger Qi'ra right alongside Dryden Voss. I guess that's a possibility. But all that to say, at some point in Maul Shadow Lord, I think you're going to see Qi'ra train with Maul. Because that's how Solo ends. Maul summons her to Dathomir to finish her training, or to whatever, to train with him. That would indicate that possibly Devon Izara is already gone. Now, we don't know what happens to Devon Izara in this series, at least not yet. But I don't think Maul's going to be taking on 2 apprentices at the same time. We'll put it that way. So I certainly hope that she's in this series. I would just more so say that she's not going to be in this first season. Yeah. So yes to Kira, but no, not in season 1. I like it. I like it. All right. Now let's talk about a different bounty hunter that seems to be on nobody's mind. And I don't know why. Because if Cad Bane could show up, if we're getting the underworld, if we're getting bounty hunters, like, why not? We've already seen familiar faces show up in the Maul Shadow Lord, or Maul Lord Shadow. What's the comic called? Lord of the Shadows or something like that. The Maul comic, that I'm blanking on the name. Somebody help me out in the chat. The Maul comic has bounty hunters in it already. Actually, it reveals that Brander Lawson was once a former bounty hunter himself. So if we're getting the criminal underworld in this series, and we're getting bounty hunters, we could be getting a Cad Bane, then why not Boba Fett? Think about it this way. We get young Boba, this is young Boba in the Clone Wars. We get young Boba in the Clone Wars, and he wants one thing. What was that one thing? Wait, what was the one thing he wanted? What was that one thing? I think Maul wants it too. Wait, what's that one thing? Oh yeah, revenge. So he wants revenge. He wanted revenge on Mace Windu for killing his dad, but he wants revenge. He's only fueled by revenge, and so is Maul. Coincidence? Possibly. But either way, we're talking underworld. We're talking bounty hunters. A character that doesn't get nearly enough appreciation in this spot in the timeline, because we see him in the Clone Wars, we see him in Attack of the Clones, and then we see him in the original trilogy, and then we see him in the Book of Boba Fett, and in Kenobi, in Mando. We don't see him in between the originals and the prequels, at least not a lot. I guess he's in Jedi Survivor, but that's years after this. So I personally would love to see more young Boba, sort of late teens. I guess maybe, late teens, I guess he would be. So Boba would be awesome. I'd love me some Boba. Yeah. Just because we're getting the underworld doesn't mean we can't get some familiar faces. And Boba will be a pretty great one. Boba T, oh my God. You got it. Yeah. Boba will be a great one. So now that we're talking about bounty hunters, I want to throw a curveball at you guys, Chet. What are your thoughts on the possibility of seeing Embo in Maul Shadow Lord? Now, before you go, Mike, you're absolutely insane. Shut up. Hear me out. And I wasn't telling you to shut up. You were telling me to shut up. Just wanted to make that clear. Before you say, Mike, shut up, you're an idiot. That's what you said to me. That's what you said to me, Chad. I don't know what you're doing. But it's confirmed. Confirmed that Embo will be in The Mandalorian and Grogu. The Mandalorian and Grogu releases on May 22nd, like 48-ish days from today. 48 days. We haven't seen Embo since the early 2010s. At least 15 years. We haven't seen him in 15 years. And he's just going to pop up in The Mandalorian and Grogu? Why not give us a little bit of a tease, a reintroduction, if you will, to the character of Embo in Maul Shadow Lord first, a couple of weeks or maybe a month or so before Maul Shadow Lord, or before The Mandalorian and Grogu. Give us Embo in animation again in Maul, and then give us him in live action. It's a very similar thing that they did with Fennec Shand. Fennec was a completely brand new character in live action in The Mandalorian, but then they brought her to animation to continue her story in a prequel series with her being in The Bad Batch. So why not do the same thing in reverse, I guess, with Embo? Give us more Embo in animation in Maul first, sort of get fans reacquainted with the character, and then give us him in The Mandalorian and Grogu. Embo's such a badass character in the Clone Wars, like so unbelievably badass. Of course, he does the sledding on his helmet, and he's got Marok the dog. So give us two Maroks. Give us Marok squared in Maul Shadow Lord. Give us the dog Marok and the Inquisitor Marok. Why not? So yes, we're getting a little bit crazier. I started with the easy ones. The yes, we'll definitely see Vaders and Palpatines and, probably Asajj Ventresses. But now we're getting a little crazy. But it's not that crazy. He will be in the Mandalorian and Grogu movie, and if I said that as a prediction, you guys would have looked at me like I was crazy. But maybe you already look at me like I'm crazy. So, Embo, yes or no? What do we think? What do we think? Embo is so cute. I don't know about that. Does he even have a mouth? How does he eat food? Embo. Buddy. Can you eat food? My first concern in life is always food, 2026 will be the year of Marok. It could be. And not that they're the same character. Could we see Kanan or Grogu? Now we're talking. Could we see a young Kanan Jarrus or a young Grogu? Now, I'm going to say no, first and foremost. We already have surviving Order 66 Jedi in this series with Master Iko Dio and Devon Izara, our Twi'lek apprentice girl. So I'm going to say no. That would be a lot of Jedi involved in this series. But I do like where your head's at. A possible character like that could appear because they exist at this time. Grogu goes off with Keller and Beck. What happens to him? I don't know. And then you look at somebody like a Kanan Jarrus. We saw Kanan in the first episode of The Bad Batch. Didn't think that was going to happen, and yet here we are. So I guess nothing is impossible, but I like where your head's at. I like where your head is at. Embo and Maul would be a little random? Not really. This is a whole show focused on the underworld. A big portion of that underworld is bounty hunters. Like, you look at the Clone Wars arcs with the underworld stuff, you get so much stuff with Embo, with Boba, with Cad Bane, and Asajj Ventress when she's a bounty hunter for like 30 quick seconds. So it's possible that you could be getting these characters. It's a show about the underworld. Yeah. Indeed it is. So there's the Embo of it all. Now, so I guess the big theories would come off of the title being Strange Allies. Who are those strange allies? And Asajj Ventress would be my best guess, I suppose. But let's take a look at these first two episodes and look at the premiere in general and give some theories here. Chapter 1, The Dark Revenge. So we're not messing around. We're getting right into the revenge portion of this show in episode 1. And episode 2 is called Sinister Schemes. So honestly, the opening scene of this show could be him slicing and dicing those pikes. Like him getting his revenge immediately. To explain what's going down, like they could easily give us some sort of explanation lines from Maul being like, you were supposed to protect me. This empire is out of hand, and yet you guys just cast me to the side. And now I'm getting my revenge. Like, they could easily explain what's happening in a couple lines as Maul slices and dices some pikes. So the Dark Revenge being episode 1 means we're getting right away into the craziness. Now, Sinister Schemes, to me, sounds like maybe him trying to explain to Devon what's going on. So it could be that in this first and second episode, he captures Devon Izara, maybe while on a mission, but captures Devon Izara and now is telling her his plans, his schemes. And it's the perfect plot device to utilize to tell Maul's backstory. As Sam Witwer said, if you've never seen Maul before, if you've never seen Star Wars before, you can still watch this show and it will still make sense. So in order for that to work, you'll have to explain the Duel of the Fates, Maul versus Qui-Gon and Obi-Wan. You'll have to explain his brother, Savage Opress. You'll have to explain that he's the apprentice to Palpatine. You'll have to explain the son of Dathomir stuff. You'll have to explain the Clone Wars Season 7. All of it will need to be explained with Mandalore and all in this first couple episodes. And the way you do that is you have him explain his whole backstory to a young Twi'lek apprentice that he's trying to coerce to the dark side. It's genius. So this whole Sinister Schemes thing, I think, is going to be Maul explaining to us his plan. Do you think Obi-Wan will be in Maul? No, absolutely not. I'm 100% certain that Obi-Wan will not be in Maul, actually. I haven't been 100% certain of anything today except for that. So, The Dark Revenge and Sinister Schemes come out on Monday. That's it. So, that's all we really have to go off of from that. But I think we're going to start with a bang where he's just slicing and dicing people, taking people out, all that great stuff. My prediction for Maul Season 1 is that Devon Izara will kill Master Ego Dio herself. Oh my God! Okay, I like that theory quite a bit. Devon Izara will kill her own master? Whoa. That got out of hand really quickly. No, I mean, that really got out of hand fast. No, I don't see that happening. I think either the Inquisitors kill her master, or Maul does it himself. And I think it's more likely to be the Inquisitors, because why? It would help her fall to the dark side more. If she wants to kill the Empire and the Empire just killed her master and Maul is the guy who's offering her his hand to help take down the Empire, then she's going to take it. I like that theory quite a bit. I like it a lot. Okay. All right, let's do this then. I thought Mike was the only one who had these dark death predictions. Yeah, it's all your fault, chat. You know what? I don't think I kill off anybody in Star Wars. I think you guys just plant it in my brain. I read it in the chat, and then like 10 minutes later, I'm like, oh my God, this guy's gonna die. And then you're like, oh my God, Mike, you're killing off everybody in Star Wars. And I'm like, ah! You know? I think that's how it goes down. But maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I'm wrong. Okay. Let's do this. Let's read some reviews. So these are all spoiler-free reviews. So for anybody worrying about spoilers or anything like that, this is not that. This is spoiler-free reviews about Maul Shadowlord. So let's read these. I mean, they are astoundingly even a word? They are insanely positive. So that's great. Now, granted, they are sending the first 8 episodes to fans, so they should be positive, but we are on the cusp of something that could be extremely peak for Star Wars fans. So, Vader killing her master? Ooh, I like that too. If Vader comes in and kills her master, and the Inquisitors couldn't, and maybe even Maul couldn't, I like that. Okay, let's read some reviews, starting with Blast Points. I have seen the first 8 episodes of Star Wars Maul Shadowlord, and all we are saying is there has never been an animated Star Wars show quite like this. It's heavy, it's dark, it's funny, interesting. It's got brilliant action, gorgeous animation, and we can't wait to see more. So the brilliant action is something that you will see constantly over all of these reviews. They really go all out with the lightsaber duels. You see it in the trailers. You see it in the trailers too. These people who got to see the episodes early are just reinforcing that. The action in this show is next level. So that's one. Yeah, let's just go like this. Okay. After watching episode 1 through 8 of Maul Shadowlord, I can honestly say it's intense, dark, and an incredible new perspective to Star Wars animation, as well as Maul's life. Every episode only got better and better as the season progressed, and will leave fans' jaw dropped. What a show. Okay, I like that. I like when my jaw is dropped. Okay, that sounded...
I got a bad feeling about this.
Edit that out, Darth Blake. Edit that out, Drippy McCool, please. Thank you very much. Hit him with the Men in Black, the memory wipe thing. Okay. Jaws will be dropped, which sounds great. Episodes getting better and better is interesting. For some reason, I always think back to The Bad Batch, where the first episode is this 90-minute epic whatever, and it's just a masterpiece. And then the season kind of goes into a bunch of filler arcs where you get to learn the characters. And it's good, but it's not like that first episode was the best of the season. So they're saying the episodes get better and better as it goes, which is great to hear. Okay, continuing. Next, Jordan. Jordan says, fortunate to have the opportunity to watch the first 8 episodes of Maul Shadowlord, and I can confirm it exceeds all expectations. Whoa. Even my lofty, hype-based ones, visually stunning, with easily the best fight/action in any Star Wars show, and engaging new characters, it's fantastic. Wait a second. So not only did he say that it exceeded all of his expectations, and to me, Jordan, he seems like a pretty big fan. I mean, even his lofty, hype-based expectations, they exceeded that. And he's saying it's the best. Okay. He's saying it's easily the best. Not like, okay, maybe it's easily the best fights and actions in any Star Wars show. Might I remind you of a show called The Acolyte? Now, I know certain fans don't like The Acolyte. Some fans just, they don't like it for one reason or another. And we're not going to get into that today. That's a whole other conversation for a whole other time. But episode 5 of The Acolyte is like just this incredible 40-minute lightsaber duel. And this is easily the best fight in actions in any Star Wars show, meaning it's also better than Clone Wars Season 7, where we got Ahsoka versus Maul on Mandalore and the whole Siege of Mandalore. Better than that? Whew. Now we're talking.
This is where the fun begins.
So, Jordan, you set the bar pretty high right here. Not going to lie. You set the bar pretty high. Okay. Best action. That's crazy. All right, continuing. Jacob, I saw 8 episodes of Maul Shadowlord, and I was really surprised by how much I really loved it. The big departure from past Star Wars animated shows, both narratively and visually, and it results in an exhilarating ride. Also includes some of the best animated lightsaber battles potentially ever. Again, saying that these fights are some of the best ever. But this guy's saying potentially ever, which is more realistic, I suppose. Yeah, you're talking up there with Palpatine versus Savage in Maul on Mandalore in Clone Wars. Or Ahsoka versus Maul in Clone Wars. Or Ahsoka versus Vader / all the great lightsaber fights of Twilight of the Apprentice in Rebels. The rematch of the century, Obi-Wan versus Maul. I guess this guy says animated, so. Those great animated ones I just mentioned, these could be the best we've ever seen. Now, it's hard not to sit here, read all this, and there's more, we'll get to more. It's hard to sit here and read all of this and not think that we could be preparing for what could go down as one of the greatest Star Wars shows ever. To me, my favorite Star Wars show ever, from start to finish, all seasons, is Rebels. And I am maybe a little crazy. We know that. But I think this could beat it. If we get better lightsaber duels than we've ever seen before, if this story is as good as these people are making it sound to be, this is crazy. Please no spoilers if you've seen it. I have not. I'm not on the list, I suppose. Lucasfilm, if you're watching, hit me up, but I'm not on the list to watch these first 8 episodes. And as I said earlier, I'd love to get the invite, Lucasfilm, love you guys, but I wouldn't watch them. So, I want to experience it with you guys. Like, I want the live watch parties to feel like something. I want to go through it together as a fandom and not just binge the first 8 episodes on my couch by myself, eating my sorrows away. But Lucasfilm, if you're watching, I mean, I'll take the 8 episodes. Yeah, as I was saying. Okay, continuing. We'll get to those in a second. Well, don't look at the screen. Those are the Mandalorian stuff we'll talk about later. Okay. Becca Benjamin says, so grateful to be able to view the first 8 episodes of Maul Shadow Lord. I'm excited to say that this series is nothing short of spectacular. From the impressive art aesthetic paired with the richness of the characters to the emotional beats of the score. Thanks, Lucasfilm. Well, that's the first time we've heard anything about the score. It is confirmed to be the Kiner Bros. They are back. They did the score for, of course, the Clone Wars and Rebels and the Bad Batch, and Ahsoka, by the way. But Kiner Bros are back. They're doing this score as well, and that's pretty great to hear. I mean, we've already heard the Duel of the Fates a bunch of times throughout the trailers, so that's no surprise there, but this is cool to hear as well. Yeah. All right, continuing. This is the Children of the Watch, so let's read this. The only thing I can compare Maul Shadow Lord to in Star Wars is Andor. Having just rewatched Andor Season 2, this has me hyped. I love me some Andor. If this is Andor with lightsabers, sign me up. It's layered, it's nuanced, emotionally rich, and surprisingly mature, yet manages to balance that without losing a younger audience. Okay, there you go. Because we were worried about the whole the rating system of it the other day, but now that seems to be out the window because, yeah, it's like the Clone Wars. It can appeal to both younger and older audiences while not being too crazy graphic, while also still not shying away from that. Maul is still chopping off people's heads in the Clone Wars, is stabbing Satine through the chest with the Darksaber in the Clone Wars. Like, that's still stuff that happens, and yet it's still a kid's show. The storytelling respects viewers of all ages, which is difficult line to walk with, and this show nails it. I mean, Star Wars has always tried to walk that line. It's not easy to do, but here we are. Visually, it is the most stunning animation style we've gotten yet. It is stylized yet grounded, cinematic yet intimate. Wow. Talk about high praise. Now, I've always been really concerned about this new animation style just because I thought they perfected it. With the Clone Wars Season 7 and with the Bad Batch 3 seasons, I thought they perfected the animation style for Star Wars. And to change that, I thought was a big mistake. And yet, here we are, and this show looks incredible, visually at least, and these people are, again, giving all the hype to this different style of animation. The emotional moments are where the show truly shines. The character work is some of the richest we've seen in Star Wars. You're talking about this loaded cast, and led by Sam Witwer, who's played this character for decades. So there's no surprise there. This isn't just some of the best Star Wars animation. It's some of the best Star Wars. I mean, come on. Like, this is hype. This is insane. Now, obviously, it's hard. These are Star Wars fans, okay? These are crazy people like us that really love Star Wars. And that's why they send them the first 8 episodes, so that they can talk about them in a very nice way. But what they're saying, I'm eating it up, and it sounds awesome. Not some of the best Star Wars animation, but some of the best Star Wars. Crazy. Crazy, crazy. All right, let's keep going. Next up, we got Daniel. Daniel says, Star Wars Maul Shadow Lord is simply outstanding and is one of the most impactful and gripping characters. And one of the most characters in the galaxy far, far away. This is the Darth Maul we've been waiting for since The Phantom Menace. Love that. And it absolutely delivers. It's a grounded and gritty world story that is steadily expanding into something much grander. Possibly Vader and Palpatine. So grounded story on Janix. A lot getting grander. With thriving action, striking visuals, and wonderful layered characters, it once again proves the best Star Wars stories are told in animation. Duel of the Fates will forever be one of the greatest scores ever. So again, the utilization of that. Now, I kind of agree with this. Some of the best, or it proves yet again the best Star Wars stories are told in animation. I agree with that to an extent. Like, my favorite Star Wars show is Rebels, and that's animated. I love the Clone Wars. I love the Bad Batch. I love the Tales stuff. And that's all animation. But still some of the best Star Wars is Revenge of the Sith. It's A New Hope. It's The Empire Strikes Back. It's Andor. It's The Mandalorian. It's Ahsoka. And that's all live action too. So I guess there needs to be a balance between both, but I agree to an extent. Yes, animated Star Wars, it's definitely looked over. I've been seeing some, actually, I think I sent it to myself. Let me see. I've been seeing a bunch of edits online and stuff for this Maul Shadowlord series, which is great. I mean, the hype for this show is crazy. But this was a trailer. Actually, this might be the one that we watched. Oh, no. Okay, we'll watch this trailer in a second, but when you look at the comments on this post, this is on the TikTok, you know, the TikTok. You guys know that? The TikTok. But you look at some of these comments. Well, the first person says, "You guys got to give the cartoons a chance. Clone Wars was peak Star Wars, not as childish as I originally thought it would be. It is the Star Wars that we know and love." Somebody says Star Wars dead with Disney, which is just insanity. Like, really? Do you actually think that? Look at the content that we've gotten over the last 14 years since they bought the company. Thought that they were doing this live action. What a waste. Like, you're just missing out at this point. You're just missing out. Some of the best Star Wars stories ever told are in animation. And just because it's not live action, it's a waste? It's not worth it? Crazy. And then you see other people like this. Season 2 was just announced yesterday. Star Wars fans just keep winning. It's the night and day difference of a comment section. It's insane. And this person, again, anybody moaning about it being animation should go back and watch the Clone Wars and the Bad Batch. It's whatever billion% better than shitty live action, which I disagree with. Live action Star Wars is still great too. And then, yeah, all this stuff, blah, blah, blah. So, like, you just see the difference in comment sections. Like, it's crazy. People are missing out on some of the greatest storytelling ever just because it's animated. Just because it's not live action. That's crazy. And then when you finally convince somebody to watch something animated and they go, "Oh my God, that's awesome. I can't believe I missed out." Like, yeah, duh. What are we talking about? So there's that. We'll watch this trailer. Actually, let's watch this trailer right now. Why not?
Lord of all.
Oh, hang on. I didn't know you guys didn't have the volume. Wait.
I was apprentice to the most powerful Sith Lord of all. You may know him as the Emperor. I was destined to become so much more. But I was robbed of that destiny. I lived in the darkness, hid in the shadows, discarded, forgotten. Formerly Darth, now just Maul. I had to find my own way. Revenge, fortune, and power. I felt certain of my destiny once more. But that was before my former master cast me aside. And there were many who prospered from my misfortune. Soon they will all pay.
So this trailer actually gets into a lot of the I guess the time between where we last saw Maul, because we saw him in the Clone Wars and he had all this misfortune, whatever. But in the because this is a couple years after the Clone Wars season 7, so there's been a lot of time that's passed, and Maul has been gaining up a crew. He's got Rook Cass by his side. He's got some Zabraks, Scorn and Icarus. He's got some Mandalorians. He's gaining up a crew, but he hasn't struck back yet, and it's been a couple years.
Fortune and power. I felt certain of my destiny once more. That was before my former master cast me aside.
Now, I think this is probably going to be like an explanation that happens in the first couple episodes. Again, as Sam Witwer said, you don't have to watch anything else before watching this show, which is a very difficult thing to accomplish, but they do it. They're going to do it. And this is how you do it. Like a 1 minute and 20-second video of explaining it is so easy.
And there were many who prospered from my misfortune.
So many people who prospered from his misfortune. We're going to see a lot of that. The Pikes, the criminal underworld just in general, people are prospering off of Maul's failure. So now he's coming back for revenge on those people because they left him out to die. And now we're going to get to see how that works. Whose lightsaber is that? Is it Maul's? Oh, it might be Maul's. Is that Maul's? The top of it right there kind of looks like Maul's. It's hard to tell with the lighting. It might not be Maul's. Whose lightsaber is this? Anybody? It could be Maul's.
Soon they will all pay.
Soon they will all pay. Darth Watts, how we doing? All right, let me get to this membership and super chat, and then we'll keep on going. Can I get some good cups, follow orders in the chat, please? Bum, bum. I will say, if Maul Shadowlord is anywhere close to this movie, we're in great hands. Only one of the greatest movies of all time. Okay. Let's introduce our new member, Jack Frost Imposter. Jack Frost. Welcome to the people who love Star Wars. Welcome to the people who love Star Wars, Jack, at the Padawan level. I appreciate that quite a bit. I really, really do. Darth Typhoonian with the very generous $5 haul says, how does a Dark Times animated show sound, following Vader and his Inquisitors, as well as surviving Jedi in the early rebellion? That sounds awesome, but a portion of that is this show. Like, we're getting the Inquisitors. We're getting Vader. We're getting Jedi survivors of Order 66. But the main character is Maul. The main thing is the criminal underworld and Maul's want for revenge. But you're getting that. You're getting Inquisitors. You're getting Maul. You're getting survivors. So I guess that's technically this show. Damn, Fearless and Brandon are having a day of work today. Can we get some appreciation for our modders in the chat, please? Fearless and Brandon, thank you guys for all the hard work today. I see a bunch of deleted messages are necessary, but I appreciate it. Okay, but having said that, what's kind of crazy to me, and I'm just noticing this now, live here, look at the views on some of these videos. These trailers for Maul Shadowlord. The one from yesterday that we watched, this one, the 34-second one that has Marok kneeling before a hologram, already has 1.4 million views. The one from 2 days ago has 3.6 million views. This one has 1.6 million. This one has 4.4 million. So even though it's an animated show, I think because it's Maul in the title, that definitely helps. But just because it's an animated show does not mean people aren't excited for this. There are so many people who are waiting for this show. Patiently, I guess, is an overstatement. I am not watching it patiently. But let's get back to these reviews, because there are more. I think I got a couple more. Yeah, I got 2 more. Okay. This is from Jones. Shadowlord is freaking ferocious. Okay. After seeing the first 8 episodes, I can confidently say it is among some of the best Star Wars content put out in a while. Might I remind you that last year we got Andor Season 2. Just saying. I can confidently say blah, blah, blah. All right. A lot of that comes from the dark and gritty tone, which Andor also had, but the emphasis of on the lightsaber duels and the turmoil within Maul really pushes this into something special. I feel it felt heavier, more intense, and the way more focused than I expected. Audiences are going to eat this one up. Oh, I can't wait. I can't wait. So all these, I got one more. Hang on. Let me get to that one more. Oh, this one's from me. Okay, here we go. I have not seen the first 8 episodes of Maul from Maul Shadow Lord, but I can already tell that we are about to witness what could be one of the greatest Star Wars animated shows ever. And then I would like to formally request a seat on the council of people who got Maul Shadow Lord earlier. I do not require the rank of master. And then that's me looking at Maul Shadow Lord in the distance. But I'm serious when I say that. I think this could be, and the reviews are definitely saying the same thing, this could be one of the greatest Star Wars projects we ever get. It could go down as the greatest Star Wars animated show ever. And we will never get back to this point where we haven't seen it. So take it all in. Take it all in. Take it in the fact that we have this. 2 more days till Maul Shadow Lord. We haven't seen it yet. The hype and anticipation is there. Think back to the hype you had for like The Force Awakens. Just the insane buzz around the Star Wars fandom. That feeling is right now. It's not the good old days. It's right now. So take it all in while you can. David with the very generous super chat says, hey, Mike, do we know what time Maul airs on Mondays? Yes, it airs at 3 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. 3 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. We will be doing a watch party starting at 2:50, maybe 2:45 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. So stay tuned for the watch party. We can watch it live together as the people who love Star Wars and go through it all, this hopefully life-changing animated series together. So, yeah. There are the reviews. So those are the reviews. No spoilers, of course, in those reviews, but very, very hype nonetheless. There was a premiere screening for Maul Shadow Lord yesterday. And I'll just pull it up. Dave Filoni was wearing an Ahsoka Season 2 jacket. Now, no like crazy news or anything for Ahsoka Season 2 today, but this is just awesome. I mean, this is just cool. Yeah. Yeah. That's 8 a.m. in the UK. Dang. Wouldn't that be nice? I still don't get the whole, I guess because it's midnight in California, that's where Lucasfilm is out of. I get that. But, why not the middle of the day? Why not when people are awake? Just why not? Just give it a whirl. They did it for the live action shows. I mean, why not the animated ones? Okay. But yeah, there you have it. All right. So going back to it, just, we're 2 days away. This is the last time I really get to say something like this. On a scale of 1 to 10, how excited are you for Maul Shadow Lord? How excited are you for Maul Shadow Lord? This is like one of the last times you can ever be excited for this show because then you'll have seen it. Can't really be excited for something you already seen. On a scale of 1 to 10, how excited are you for this premiere of the next animated show? It's really nice to know going into the premiere that there's already going to be a second season. They don't usually do this. So it's nice to know that we're going to get more. And it honestly makes me more excited that we're going to get more. So, I'm at a 10 out of 10. I have been all week, especially when that trailer dropped about the My Lord, Maul Lives. Insane. And of course, the announcement of season 2. Hype beyond belief. And as Tony says in the chat, what's up, Tony? He says, Sith sells. Sith sells. People are excited for something like this. I'm seeing a lot of 10 out of 10s, 9 out of 10, 9 out of 10, 10 out of 10, 7.3, okay. 9, 10. Pretty hype. And then, of course, like a 10 bajillion, quadrillion, bajillion from yeah. Yeah. Okay. Now, I know we're talking about Maul. We'll come back to Maul, but we got to talk a little bit about Mando and Grogu because there's some pretty wild leaks. And we talked about Embo today and the possibility of seeing Embo in Maul Shadow Lord, but we got official names for the Anzellans for one. So the 4 Anzellans, one of which is going to get eaten by Marok, not the Inquisitor Marok, but Embo's dog Marok. The 4th Anzellan in The Mandalorian is officially named Minch, and the others are Keto, Baye, something like that, and Clang. Clang is a great name. So there you have it. Your 4 Anzellans. I don't know which is which, but you got Minch, Keto, Baye, something, and Clang. And Clang. Is Sam going to be at the live watch parties? No. I'm actually glad you asked because she works like a normal job. She's not crazy like me and talks about Star Wars 24/7. So she works a normal job, so she has to be up in the morning. So no. She will not be for the watch parties. Yeah. Clang is already my favorite. He's already mine too. I don't even know which one he is, and yet he's my favorite. Honestly, if I were to guess, I would say the leader is Minch. Just for fun. Keto, I would say is this guy right here for sure. Baye or Baye, whatever his name is. Baye, whatever. I think would be this guy. And then Clang, I mean, that guy just looks like a Clang right there, If anybody looked like a Clang, that's him. That's him for sure. Okay, and then the other Mando thing was this right here. A little bit new merch leaks. And in the merch leaks, we get some cool stuff. You get Rod of the Hutt, of course. Stormtrooper Zeb with a staff, which is cool. Din Djarin, Grogu on the shoulder. You got the Anzellans right there, all 4 of them. And a sort of a snow trooper, sort of AT trooper type guy there. And then Embo. And Embo is holding his bowcaster that he had in the Clone Wars. So I think you're going to get a really epic lightsaber duel of some sort in, not lightsaber, epic action fight scene between bounty hunters here, Din Djarin and Embo going at it. And the bowcaster thing is going to be pretty badass to see go up against Din Djarin's rifle, the one that incinerates Jawas. So that'll be really cool. Yeah. I hope Clang isn't the one eaten by Marok. Me too. So which one dies? Oh, interesting. I'm going to put my money on... I'll put my money on Keto. Keto's the one that's going to get eaten. Yeah. That's what I think. Okay. But that's the little bit of Mando news that we got right there. But let's go back to Maul. This is it. Okay. Let's talk about it. So, Maul, final predictions. This is it. This is your last chance. If you don't bring out a prediction now and you go, oh my God, I was going to say that, but nope. This is it. Final chance. What if Din Djarin incinerates Embo? That would be crazy. But I don't think that'll happen. No, I don't think that'll happen. All right. Final predictions for Maul Shadow Lord. Anything crazy? What did I get? This was one that I really liked. Okay. Let's talk about Rook Cast for a second here, shall we? Let's talk about Rook Cast. So, we know for a fact that Rook Cast is back. She will be in Maul Shadow Lord. There's no surprises there. However, there's a big fan theory that's been going around for a long, long time about this character. And it's that she is the armorer from the Mandalorian. Do you think that will be confirmed in this season or in this show in general? Like, do you think Maul and Rook Cast will have some sort of falling out? Because Maul goes to Malachor 5 by himself. Everything else is gone. What happens to Rook Cast? I don't think she's going to die. I mean, maybe she dies, but I don't think she's going to die. So what happens to her? If Maul goes off on his own, maybe she goes off on her own, becomes the armorer. And maybe, just maybe, the other Mandalorians that we are going to see in this Shadow Lord series could eventually become the ones that we see in The Mandalorian, like a Paz Vizsla. It's Paz, right? Yeah, Paz Vizsla. Thoughts? She'll die? Whoa, chat, killing off a character like that? That's kind of crazy. That's wild. Maul kills Marok, takes off his helmet, and finds he's a Night Brother. He takes him back to Dathomir, teams up with Morgan Elsbeth, who helps him maybe with Ventress. Whew. They bring Marok back from the dead, and boom. Now that's a crazy theory. I do think Maul will kill Marok, and I really hope that he's the one who brings him back to Dathomir, because yes, Marok is in Ahsoka Season 1, and he dies and turns into green smoke because he's brought back to life with Night Sister magic. So when fans see him in Maul Shadow Lord and don't really know that, and then they see him and they're like, oh yeah, he's in Ahsoka, so he has to survive, and then he gets killed, we're going to be like, what the hell's going on here? Maul kills Ventress in this show? There's no way they brought back Ventress from the dead just to kill her off in the next show. Ventress is going to live, and she might even show up in live action in the Mandoverse. That's what I think. Rook revealed to be the armorer would be at the end of the series, not the end of the season. Yeah, you're probably right. If she is, in fact, the armorer, it won't be revealed until the final scene of this show. Whenever Maul and her split up and go to do their other things, yeah. That's when it will happen. I think Master Iko Dio will die, but survive, and in later seasons try to get Devin back to the light. Interesting. So like a fake death or a staged death. I like it. I like it. Morgan Elsbeth could be in season 2 or 3. That's true. Morgan Elsbeth could be involved in this show in one way or another. She was recently in A Tales of the Empire, and we didn't really get this portion of her story filled out because she's at the massacre on Dathomir from the Clone Wars, where Grievous and the Separatists show up and massacre all the Night Sisters. She survives that. So she is definitely old enough to be involved with this show. I like that. Season 1 ends with Devon Izara bleeding her Kyber crystal. Oh, I would love that. Like, we get to actually dive deep here into the lore of the Sith. This is Maul. He was trained by Palpatine, and now he's going to be training his own apprentice, or at least attempt to. We could really get some cool insights into how the Sith work in canon, what their training is like, and yeah, bleeding a Kyber crystal will be part of that. Now, going back to what somebody mentioned earlier about possibly having Devon Izara kill her master, usually a Sith has to kill a Jedi and then take that Jedi that they killed's lightsaber and bleed it to red. What if Devon Izara has to kill her master and then takes that Kyber crystal or lightsaber and bleeds it to red? That would be wild. Now, might I remind you that on Monday, they're also selling a limited 3,000 Devon Izara lightsabers at Galaxy's Edge. So if they're selling the lightsaber, it means that this character is probably going to be around for a while. Yeah. The Master joins Maul and Devon. That would be wild. That would be wild. That would be crazy. Tony, I would take that. I'll take that all day long. It is great to see the hype for this show, just in general, online, in the chat, of course, but just around the channel and just online in general, because this is the first Star Wars series, like actual multi-season, multi-week show since Andor last year, almost a year ago. So it's been a while since we got a show like this, and the hype is definitely there. You can see, there's just a feel online. You can feel the hype for this show, and it's awesome. Yeah. It is great. Now, it's really hard. We just threw out a billion and one crazy predictions, but, there's more to come. Having said that, when we get our first 2 episodes under our belt, we'll have a little bit more specifics to predict. So next week's prediction stream is going to be more geared towards what are we going to see in episodes 3 and 4 specifically. And we'll have a lot to go off of from the first two episodes. But I want to ask one more question, I suppose, to the class. And that is, do you think we will get flashbacks in this season? Flashbacks to anything. The Phantom Menace, the maybe stuff we haven't seen before, like the Son of Dathomir stuff, where Palpatine is torturing him. Do you think we will actually get flashbacks to the past in Maul Shadow Lord? Yes or no? I could see it going one of 2 ways. One, we get a ton of flashbacks in the first couple episodes to explain what's going down and how it works and all this stuff. Or no flashbacks at all, and they just explain it. Just with words. They explain all the stuff that happened before. So do you think we will get flashbacks, yes or no? Let's actually put this up in a poll. Let's put up a poll. By the way, Ventress, do you think Ventress will be in this show? 58% of you say yes. All right, let's do this. Do you think there will be flashbacks in Maul Shadow Lord? Yes or no? Flashbacks to Savage? Well, I think he'll talk about his brother. That's the thing. They can get a lot done with just dialogue and no real flashbacks necessary, I suppose. Holy, right off the bat, 90%, I'm going to leave it up there, but 90% of you guys right now are saying yes, you think there will be flashbacks. All right. Interesting. We'll have to wait and see. Tony with a 29-month membership badge. Holy crap. Been with Mike since the beginning. Great to see him go from 1 to 20,000. Yeah, Tony is one of the first people when I was live streaming years and years ago. And just, to myself, live streams would not go for 2 hours. I'll put it that way. But it was around Andor season 1, I think. And I would just talk to myself, just for fun. And Tony was one of the first people, maybe the first person to ever actually chat in the chat. So the fact that Tony's still here now is absolutely insane. I appreciate it, Tony. It's incredible. And Dale Skywalker with the 16-month membership as well. I appreciate that too. I really, really do. It is insane to me how far we've come. The fact that we just even have any of you here listening to me talk about Star Wars and just predicting what's going to happen in Maul Shadow Lord, it's insane. The community that we've built here with the people who love Star Wars has set out 5.5 years ago to make a community of people who talk positively about Star Wars because there wasn't that. And there's more of it now. Maybe we had some effect on that, I'd like to think, but at the time, I made this channel because everywhere I looked online was just negativity about Star Wars all over the place. It was just negative. So I made this channel to try to change that, make a community, a place where we could talk about Star Wars positively. Whether you like it or not, whether you like projects or don't like projects, you can have your opinions and have them be respected while also not just shitting on somebody for their opinion. And I feel like we've accomplished that. Again, shout out to the moderators for keeping it that way, civil in the chat, of course. But it's insane to see that we just hit 2,000 subscribers. And I know you guys are all congratulating me, but I did nothing. Okay, maybe I did something, but I didn't do much. It's all you guys. I could not thank you enough for being here, being at all the live streams, being at it really means the world. And we wouldn't be here without you. I mean, 200,000 of you guys decided to click subscribe, and that just can't be, I cannot emphasize how incredible that is and how thankful I am for it. I'm a lucky guy. I truly am. Hit it! I mean, that says it all. It says it all. Thank you. There's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. It's all 100% you guys. If you told me in 2020, was it 2020? 2020, November of 2020, when I made this channel, that I'd be sitting here 5.5-ish years later, still talking about Star Wars with this many of you here, I would have laughed in my own face. I would have said, "You're an idiot. Go find a job, you loser." That's what I would have said. No, it's insane. It's absolutely insane. We've had the official Star Wars account come into the live streams before. That's how crazy this has gotten. That's how awesome you guys are. That this community is so great, so positive, that the word has gotten out to Star Wars themselves, to Lucasfilm, that we exist as a community, the people who love Star Wars. It's insane. So if you have not yet already, go join the Discord. There's a link in the description below. And we hope to see Star Wars yet again in our chat for the premiere, because they love to come during the watch parties. So maybe we'll get a sighting of them at 3 a.m. in the morning on Monday. But I cannot thank you guys enough. This is a dream come true, to say the least. It makes every 3 a.m. watch party, making breakdowns at 4 in the morning and staying up all night doing stuff, like, it makes it all so incredibly worth it. I would say it's hard job, but it's not. It's literally a dream. It's the greatest job of all time. So I could not appreciate you guys anymore. 200,000 is just, I can't fathom it in my brain. Someday it will hit me. Someday it will smack me across the face and go, "Mike, you have a ton of people who decided to hit subscribe for you." And I don't understand it. I don't get it. All I can say is I love you guys. It's insanely generous, the amount of support that you've given me over the last 6 years. And let me get a little close and personal with you right now, Chad. Okay? My microphone doesn't reach over here. Thank you. Thank you. Hit it! Tony, take it back. Send it back, Tony. Send it back. If you just tell your credit card company that it was a mistake, they'll give it back to you. This is dude. Don't do it. Don't do it, Tony. That's insane. Tony with, I think, the biggest super chat we've ever gotten in channel history. I'm almost positive, with a $200 super chat. That's insane. Tony, call the credit card company right now. Tell them it was a mistake, and they'll figure it out. This is instead. No, I don't want it. I don't need it. I don't want it. That's insane. He says, I gave you 100% I gave you 100 when you reached 100K. Now 200 for reaching 200K. This new level, a haven for good Star Wars fans. Wow. Okay. That's insane. Tony, I appreciate that so unbelievably much. What? Okay. Having said that, let's talk about Maul Shadowlord, shall we? Whew. Okay. Where were we? Final predictions. Your final predictions for Maul Shadowlord, or forever hold your peace. Forever be the guy who was like, "Oh, I was going to say that, but you didn't give me the chance, Mike." This is your chance. Say it now, or never say it at all. This is it. This is what it's all been for. The people who love Star Wars was always the goal. Okay. Where are we? Maul. Yeah, he's a character. He exists. Star Wars. Yep. That's a thing too. Okay. Where were we? Maul's about to rock our world? I hope so. I hope so. This will not be a happy ending. Whoa. Why not? We kind of know where Maul's story ends, and it's not happy. This is going to be awesome. Love it. Love it. Love it. Love it. Love it. Tony is actually the GOAT. Tony is actually the GOAT. That's a fact. That's a fact. Send all love to Tony in the chat, please. All right. The three, Devon, Maul, and her master will team up against Maul and will team up, and then Maul will kill Master Iko Dio and then take Devon as his apprentice. So they'll team up against the Inquisitors and then take her as apprentice. Okay. I like that. I like it a lot. Let's watch a trailer. Let's watch a trailer to get our hype at the peak, and then we'll get on out of here. How about that? Does that sound good, Chet? Does that sound good, Chet? How about we watch this one? It's got 3.6 million views. Let's watch it. Why not?
You have been replaced. I master the Force and the Force serves me. I master the Force and the Force serves me. I master the Force and the Force serves me. I master the Force and the Force serves me. I master the Force and the Force serves me.
Maul, Shadow Lord, streaming April.
You know what? Let's just watch them all. Let's watch all the trailers.
In these times, I prefer to keep my presence a shadow.
Ever heard of Maul? My lord, Maul lives.
To those who have betrayed me, die well.
Maul, Shadow Lord, streaming April.
So good. What time is the watch parties? It'll be at like 2:50 a.m. 2:50, and we'll watch them all together. All right, one last time.
He is associated with several criminal organizations and proficient with a laser sword.
The Empire tried to kill me. Their betrayal demands consequence. And that consequence requires a weapon. Together, we can destroy the Empire.
He wants to fight as allies.
The Empire may be our common enemy, but Maul will never be our ally.
We need to find him, whatever it takes.
This is escalating out of our hands. The Empire will want answers.
The Empire will lock this planet down.
Jedi, where is Maul?
I'm right here. Let us have our revenge.
We're not gonna take out the whole Empire.
Yeah, we are. Yeah, we are. We're taking down the whole Empire, and we're doing it together with the evil Darth Maul. But he's not that bad. You know, he's not that bad. Okay, Ron with the very generous $20 haul. You guys are way too generous today. I appreciate it. another great podcast. Thank you, Mike, for the great positive channel. Congrats. I appreciate that, Ron. I really, really do. I really, really do. I think you guys are just trying to get me to cry on live stream at this point, so I'm going to have to get on out of here. I got to finish up a short for today. This was insane. I could not thank you guys enough. I know I didn't dump any blue milk on my head, but I appreciate the love regardless. Maybe for 250 we'll do something epic. $250,000, I feel like I got to do something cool there. For $1 million, we'll do something crazy. You know, something really crazy. But Maul Shadow Lord is in 2 days. We have a watch party at 2:50 a.m. in the morning on Monday, Eastern Standard Time, that is. So watch out for that. And we will have breakdowns out by Monday morning, I'm sure, or Monday afternoon. And then we will go from there. I know all these content creators got the early access to these episodes, so I'm sure the breakdowns will come out before mine. But I appreciate you guys for watching mine anyway. So watch out for those on Monday. Watch out for, of course, live stream on Tuesday and Thursday and Saturday. And then Tuesday and Thursday and Saturday for the rest of your lives. And, yeah. But I appreciate you all so much more than you'll ever know. Every last one of you means so much to me. I don't think you understand it. I can't even possibly put it into words for you to understand how much it does mean to me for you guys just being here. Super chats, of course, are not necessary, and I appreciate those unbelievably much, but just being here, liking it, completely free things that, like hitting subscribe, that means the world to me, and it costs you absolutely nothing, so I appreciate it so unbelievably much. Let's let's hit it one last time, and then we'll get on out of here. 200,000 subscribers. Hit it! So insane. I appreciate you all so much more than you. Jan with a $20 super chat. I appreciate that. So doing my small part could use it. Could use a Sid impression. On that note, okay, I appreciate it. I'll give you my best Sid impression. Me. I'm going to turn on the Bad Batch. That's my best Sid impression. Okay. So, by the way, 82% of you guys think there will be flashbacks in Maul Shadow Lord. That's surprising. I guess only time will tell. Only time will tell. I appreciate you guys so much. I love you all. And keep the conversation going in the Discord. Keep the love going forever. Keep your Star Wars love alive. And don't let all the haters get in your heads, you know? Haters gonna hate. Lovers gonna love. Okay, that sounded weird. I take it back. Haters not gonna hate. No, wait. May the Force be with you. Always. Damn it, Chopper. One day. One day. Oh, yeah. What a great stream. What a great show. This truly was a stream of the ages. Not only a prediction stream for Maul Shadow Lord, which could go down as one of the greatest shows ever. Not just Star Wars, but just shows in general, which would be awesome. But it was the 200K stream, and that will go down, at least in my heart, as a core memory for the rest of my life. So I appreciate you all so much more than you'll ever know. I know I say that every stream, but it's true. And that's why I say it every stream. So, yeah. Hope you have a great rest of your evening, rest of your lives. And good night, everybody. One last time.